Hey, you know how we often hear about building a business?
Yeah, all the time.
Well, today we're diving into something related, but honestly pretty distinct. Building a brand.
Ah, yes.
The brand.
It's easy to think they're the same thing. I mean, people use them interchangeably. But understanding the difference can really set you up for something bigger.
Absolutely. And we've looked into some, well, fascinating insights for you. We've got stuff from a CEO who built this massive online audience, plus some deep dives into globally recognized brands.
Right.
So the goal today is basically to give you a clear picture,
Right.
what a brand truly is and why putting actual energy into building one, why it's so vital for like long-term success.
Yeah, no matter what you're working on, big or small.
Exactly. Doesn't matter if you're techie or just starting out.
Okay, so let's get real about this whole branding idea. It can feel a bit fuzzy, can it?
Definitely a bit abstract sometimes. Yeah. I was checking out this talk by Alex Hormozy,
Yeah.
and he shared a bunch of definitions from marketing folks. And get this one said, it's a person's gut feeling about a product.
Okay, gut feeling. Interesting.
Another one was, it's not what you say it is, but what they say it is.
Ah, the customer perception angle.
Right. Then there's like a set of expectations, memories, stories, and relations. It kept going. Emotional shorthand, value of what something means is greater than what it does,
Wow, that's quite philosophical.
isn't it? And then simpler ones like a product, publicly distinguished. And, the process of creating the name, qualities, personality, plus just promotion and design.
It's a whole spectrum of ideas.
Honestly, it was like, whoa, okay, that's a lot of different angles. It felt a bit overwhelming.
It really can be. And like Hormozy pointed out, those definitions, while interesting, don't always give you a clear, actionable direction, do they?
Not really, no. It's like, okay, but what do I do?
Exactly, which is why sometimes a simpler approach is, well, more useful. We looked at an interview with Christo from the future.
Oh, yeah, I like his stuff.
Me too.
Yeah.
And he offered a really practical way to think about it. He basically said, a brand is about preference and willingness to pay a premium.
Okay, preference and paying more. That's concrete.
Right. He made a great point. If you're always just trying to be the cheapest, you probably haven't built a strong brand. Unless being cheap is your brand, like Walmart. That's their whole thing.
Gotcha. That makes sense. It clarifies things a lot.
It does. And it connects nicely to another point from the future,
What's that?
that a brand isn't just something you make. It's the result. It happens in your customer's head and heart. It's their feeling.
So it's their interpretation, meaning,
Meaning a company doesn't just have one brand. It has millions, potentially. One for every single person who interacts with it and forms an opinion.
wow, okay, millions of little brands floating around for one company.
Kind of, yeah. And that idea really popped up in a Reddit discussion we saw, too. People were saying, look, whether you're deliberately shaping your brand or not.
It's getting built anyway.
Exactly. Every interaction, every perception someone has that's building it, it's the facade, as someone put it, that needs to align with how your target customers see things.
So it's way, way more than just picking colors and a logo.
Oh, absolutely. It's the whole vibe, the whole experience.
Okay, so we're getting a clearer picture of what a brand is.
Mm-hmm.
But why? Why should we worry so much about building a brand instead of just, focusing on the business side, selling things, getting paid, the basics?
That is such a crucial question, because you can just focus on the transactions.
Right.
But a Forbes article we looked at really laid out the risks. If you only focus on the business model, product, service, payment, what happens if that product becomes irrelevant?
Wow.
Or someone else comes along, cheaper or better? All that effort, boof, it can vanish.
Okay, that's a scary thought.
But a strong brand, that has staying power. It's built on a longer-term vision, clear values, a story that actually moves people. It gives you flexibility.
Flexibility to adapt.
Yeah, to pivot, to evolve. It builds a legacy, not just immediate profits.
That makes total sense. It's like the foundation, the bedrock maybe,
Yeah,
compared to just the house built on top.
good analogy. And Forbes had some really compelling numbers to back this whole idea up, didn't they?
They did. What were they again?
Well, get this. A massive 94% of consumers are highly likely to recommend brands they feel an emotional connection with. 94%.
Wow. That's nearly everyone.
Right. And 91% are more likely to actually buy from brands they see as authentic, as genuine.
Okay, authenticity matters.
A lot. And then 64% said shared values are a primary reason they stick with a brand. They have a relationship with it.
Shared values. So it's not just what you sell, but what you stand for.
Yeah.
Those numbers are huge.
They really drive home how important that emotional link is, that connection beyond just the product itself.
It's definitely not just about the transaction then. And I saw something in a video, Mission Critical, I think. It resonated with this.
Oh, yeah. What was it?
They said, a purely business mindset often centers on the money, right? Which makes sense, but it can mean overlooking those crucial customer relationships.
Right. You focus on the spreadsheet, maybe.
Exactly. But a brand mindset, that puts the customer experience front and center. It's all about their perceptions, their feelings.
That's a really key distinction. It's a fundamental shift in perspective. Building a brand is about creating something that clicks with people on a deeper level beyond just their immediate need.
It's about trust, relationships, things that last.
Precisely.
So, okay, just having great product isn't quite enough. You need that.
Right.
That's something extra, that connection.
You got it.
Now, to make this really tangible, let's look at some brands that have, well, absolutely nailed this. We dug into some cool examples, and it's clear they didn't just stumble into success. There were smart tactics involved.
For sure. Let's start with a big one everyone knows, Apple.
Apple. Can't avoid them.
Right. They went from nearly failing to being this global tech giant. And it's not just about the cool products, the iPhones, the Macs.
It's how they all work together, isn't it? The ecosystem.
Exactly. That seamless integration. Once you're in the Apple ecosystem, it's kind of comfortable. Hard to leave, even if you wanted to sometimes.
Totally. My phone, my laptop, my watch, they just connect. It creates real loyalty.
And then there's the design. That minimalist, clean aesthetic. Plus, they keep innovating, right? Things like Face ID felt revolutionary.
Yeah, they keep pushing things forward. And their brand image itself has shifted too, hasn't it? From niche computer company to luxury tech, a status symbol almost.
Definitely. And think about their marketing. Super clever, like the Shot on iPhone campaign.
Oh yeah, that was brilliant.
Wasn't it? They got their own users to create the ads, basically, showcasing the camera, building community, driving engagement.
Oh, well, that sounded like a hard sell.
Yeah.
It turned customers into advocates, enthusiastic ones.
Exactly. So the big takeaway from Apple seems to be build a fantastic integrated experience, be super consistent with your message, quality, simplicity, innovation, and find ways to make your customers feel part of something. That's powerful.
Powerful combination. Okay, who's next? Let's switch gears.
Let's switch gears completely. Different market, different model. Meesho in India.
Okay, Meesho, tell me about them.
They've really shaken up e-commerce there, focusing on affordability and accessibility, especially reaching people in like Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, smaller towns.
Right, reaching underserved markets.
Yeah.
That's smart. And I heard they really empowered small businesses, especially women.
Massively. Their model enabled tons of people, particularly women, to become entrepreneurs, selling products from home using social media. Their hashtag #MyStoreMissStory campaign highlights these successes. It's pretty inspiring stuff.
That's amazing, connecting empowerment with their brand.
And their focus on price is relentless. Campaigns like Sahi Lago Na, which means something like, quote, the right price, and Meesho Pe Sab Kuch, everything is on Meesho, really hit home with budget-conscious consumers.
So affordability is core.
Absolutely. And they've been really smart with social media and using micro-influencers and regional languages to connect locally.
So it's about inclusivity, reaching everyone. The lesson from Meesho seems to be empower your users, focus laser sharp on affordability and accessibility, and use targeted digital marketing smartly. That builds incredible loyalty.
Spot on. Okay, ready for another. Finance this time. Zerodha.
Zerodha, the stockbroker India, right? The one that disrupted things.
That's the one. They came in with a zero brokerage model for equity delivery trades. Huge disruptor.
Zero brokerage. That must have opened up trading to so many people.
It really did. Democratized it in a way. But it wasn't just the price. They built a reputation for being customer-centric. Transparent pricing, no hidden fees.
And they have that educational platform, right? Varsity.
Yes. Varsity is amazing. A massive free resource for learning about investing. That built enormous trust and goodwill.
So they focused on providing value beyond just the trading platform itself.
Exactly. And interestingly, they didn't spend big on traditional ads. Their growth was largely organic. Word of mouth, community building, referrals.
Referrals drove most of it?
Over 60% of their clients apparently came from referrals, which is just incredible.
Wow. That speaks volumes about customer satisfaction. So, the takeaway from Zerodha. A disruptive model combined with genuine customer-focused education and transparency can fuel sustainable organic growth. Trust is key.
Absolutely. Okay, let's pivot again. Tesla.
Tesla. Electric cars, Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Impossible to ignore.
Right. They've done more than just make EVs. They've really pushed the whole conversation around sustainable energy and kind of redefined what a car even is.
The relentless focus on innovation is undeniable. EVs, batteries, solar.
And what's fascinating is their advertising spend, or lack thereof.
Right. They spend almost nothing on traditional ads, don't they?
Pretty much zero. It's all word of mouth, media buzz, the Musk factor on Twitter. Well, X now.
It's like the product and the mission or the marketing.
In a way, yes. And their customer approach, online purchasing, the supercharger network, their service model feels different. Plus, that core commitment to sustainability resonates deeply with their audience.
It builds fierce loyalty, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's more than a car. It's joining a movement almost.
Exactly. So, lessons from Tesla. Innovation has to be core. You can build massive buzz without traditional ads if the story is compelling enough. And aligning with values like sustainability fosters incredible loyalty.
Very cool. Okay, one more.
One more. Let's look at a legacy brand that reinvented itself. Mattel, specifically with Barbie.
Barbie. Okay, the movie effect was huge recently.
It was massive, but the groundwork started before that. Barbie faced a lot of criticism over the years, right? Unrealistic body standards, lack of diversity.
Yeah, that was a long-running issue.
So Mattel made a really strategic shift. They focused deliberately on diversity and inclusion. Introduced dolls with multiple body types, skin tones, hair textures, different careers.
That felt like a necessary change, didn't it? Made the brand feel much more relevant.
Absolutely. And then came the Hollywood collaboration. The Barbie movie wasn't just a movie, it was a cultural event.
It really was. And the marketing? The tie-ins. 165 brand partnerships, I read.
Insane, right? It wasn't just about selling dolls anymore. It was about Barbie as a concept, a lifestyle brand sparking conversations.
It totally broadened the appeal.
Yeah.
So the lesson here, even iconic, long-standing brands can transform.
Yes. By listening to cultural shifts, embracing change like diversity, and using smart collaborations, especially in entertainment, they can find new relevance and connect with new generations. Evolve or fade away, basically.
Wow. Okay, so those are some really diverse examples. Apple, Misho, Zeroda, Tesla, Barbie. But you can see common threads, can't you? Vision, customer focus, values.
Definitely. So for someone listening now thinking, okay, I get it, brand matters, but where do I start? Especially if they're, not Apple-sized.
Right. The practical steps, almost everyone agrees. The absolute foundation is understanding your audience. Who are you actually trying to reach?
Know thy customer.
Exactly. Inside and out. What do they care about? What are their problems? Then you need to define your own stuff. What's your mission? What are your core values? What makes you different to your positioning? That's your brand strategy 101.
Got to have that clarity first. And then it's about connection, right? Emotional branding.
Yeah, that came up a lot. It's about tapping into emotions, not just logic. How do you make people feel?
And there are ways to do that, like building a community around your brand or aligning with social causes your audience believes in. Maybe offering really personalized service that makes people feel seen.
It connects back to those basic human needs, doesn't it? Belonging, feeling good about your choices, self-esteem. Maslow's hierarchy, basically.
Totally. You're moving beyond just the functional need. And for, say, smaller businesses or SMEs on a tight budget,
Yeah, what about them?
the advice seems to be focus on really powerful, clear branding from the start. Be smart and thoughtful with your marketing. You don't need a huge budget for clever ideas. And maybe look into strategic PR. Get your story out there.
Makes sense. And what about personal branding? Christo mentioned that too, didn't he?
He did. His advice was interesting. He said it starts with self-awareness, knowing yourself, accepting yourself, healing yourself even.
Heal thyself to build thy brand.
Kind of. His point was that authenticity is magnetic. If you're building a personal brand, or even if your personality is tied to your business brand, being genuinely kid, you can be your strongest asset.
I love that. Just be real. Authenticity as a brand strategy.
Yeah. And then there's consistency. This came up again and again.
How you show up everywhere.
Exactly. Your website, your social media, your emails, your packaging, how you answer the phone, it all needs to sound and feel like you. Consistent voice, consistent look and feel.
That builds recognition, right? And
Yeah.
memorability. And eventually, maybe even reverence, as one source put it. The 3 R's.
Recognition, memorability, reverence.
Yeah.
And a crucial step, often missed,
What's that?
socializing the brand inside the company, making sure every single employee gets it, believes in it, and lives it.
So it's not just an external thing. Your team is the brand in many ways.
They're often the front line. They need to embody it consistently.
That's a really vital point.
Yeah.
And one last big piece, storytelling.
Oh, yeah, the power of narrative.
It's huge, isn't it? Telling your story, the why behind what you do.
Mm-hmm.
It creates that meaningful connection we talked about. It differentiates you.
Especially now when there's maybe a bit of a trust deficit sometimes. A good, authentic story cuts through.
Totally. And it fosters loyalty. People connect with stories, remember stories, but they have to be authentic, right? And line up with your values.
Absolutely. Can't just be a nice story you made up. It has to ring true. There was survey data showing how important storytelling is perceived. Like 78% said it was extremely or somewhat important for brand identity.
Wow. So, okay, wrapping this all up, it's clear building a brand is so much more than just the surface stuff, the logo, the colors.
It really is. It's about forging that lasting connection, creating a clear identity, something that genuinely resonates with your audience on an emotional level.
Thinking about all those examples, Apple's ecosystem, Misha's empowerment, Zeroda's trust, Tesla's vision, Barbie's evolution, what bits stand out to you, either in brands you admire or maybe in what you're trying to build yourself?
It's a good exercise. And maybe here's a final thought to chew on.
Okay, leave us with something to think about.
What is the absolute core feeling or idea you want people to associate with what you do? Not just the product, but the feeling.
The gut feeling, maybe. Back to that first definition.
Could be. And once you have an idea of that feeling, what's one small, concrete step you can take, like today or tomorrow, to start intentionally building that brand, not just selling your current offerings?